Okay, I know I've been working on a lot of different things, but because of one reason or another, I haven't been able to get anything out, and this is also going to be a super long video, but I wanted to bring that up, okay? I still have a ton of videos that I have written, they're in the script, I just, haven't gotten around to it yet. I just got way too ambitious with what I wanted to do. Basically every movie I saw, every book that I read, which was like 2, every album that I listened to, I wanted to make a video on, and then I would get so hyper-focused on it that I wouldn't care about anything else, and then I'd get sidetracked and get hyper-focused on that, and then I would never finish one thing or another, which, might be a little bit of foreshadowing. My name is Edwin. I made the mimic. Especially after school started, everything got put on the back burner, so I'm going to close my horizons and focus up on really specific things that I want to do. Don't come at me if you disagree with anything in this video, because this is my FNAF timeline, okay? There will be some holes because not everything has an answer yet. The newest game just came out, Secret of the Mimic, which is similar to FNAF 4 or Sister Location, with the fact that it answers so many things but also throws a wrench into a ton more. And we don't have answers for like anything yet. And for the non-FNAF heads watching, don't take anything that I say as official or canon unless I specifically say so, or I specifically say that it's not, or I show footage of it happening. Does that make sense? Okay, great. Also spoilers. Okay, let's go. Secret of the Mimic. The story originally starts with these 3, mostly 2 characters. Edwin Murray, William Afton, and Henry Emily. They met in, like, college or something and became good friends. For this beginning portion, we're gonna focus on Edwin, and then he's not gonna be relevant again until the very end. So, keep that in mind. In the back of your mind. Edwin is the son of Edward Murray, who owns a company known as Murray's Costume Manor, or MCN. Which it probably was known by something else, at that point, but yeah, we didn't know. They made costumes and inventions for the masses, for entertainment, royalties, and things like that. Edwin made some inventions that people liked. There was a coat rack that could change sizes, a coffee machine that, like, automatically knew what you wanted. But what really hit off with the public was the Cleanovac, which is basically just a Roomba mixed with the wet floorbots from Security Breach. It was Edwin's magnum opus, and he tries all for the rest of his life to make something better. His father passes away. Oh, my daddy's dead. Edwin inherits MCM, where he starts to make costumes for entertainers. He meets one of the employees, Fiona, who he asks to use her voice to make one of his new inventions with him, which ends up being Mr. and Mrs. Helpful, the predecessor to Helpy and Helpy, with an I. They end up falling in love, getting married, having a son, the whole Mormon speedrun. Their son, David, has heterochromia, and Edwin and Fiona loved very much and spent a lot of their time making puppets and plushies and costumes for. And they always prioritized him before they started to neglect him. Edwin designed several costumes and animatronics that he tried to sell to people. There was the Mycelium Men, which were the classic say something to them, and then there were Peanut toys. There was Roxanne Wolf, Trash in the Gang, Sun and Moon, Candy Cadet, Montgomery Gator, all of the mediocre melodies, and Music Man, which were used in Fall Fest, as well as the concept of recycling. I'm not joking. There was also more characters that aren't confirmed, but they seem as possible predecessors for things like Circus Baby and the Puppet and a few more. During this time, Fazbear Entertainment as a company has been going strong with their OG character Fredbear existing as far back as the 1930s. MCM has been making mascot suits for Fredbears for years, and Henry owns a little-known restaurant that is Chica's Party World, which got Fiona to design Chica and Edwin made the suit. Nowadays, Fazbear has a little get-together that Edwin either sponsors or rents a booth in where he sells things called Fall Fest. This is where the original Music Man and Lefty, known as the Carney, showcase. We only get to see a little bit of Fall Fest in things like Help Wanted, the Dreadbear DLC, and Help Wanted 2, but we do know that one year, Fiona attends Fall Fest, where there's a huge fire and she is killed, likely started by William to get back at Edwin, like the Demuted theorized about, and also like we see in Help Wanted 2, but that's neither here or there. Anyway, after Fiona dies, Edwin grieves her hard, pouring himself into his work, neglecting his son even more than he already did. Edwin builds the Mimic to take care of David while he could work. One day, he hears Fiona inside of MCM. We still don't know why. I think it was John FNAF that said, or that theorized that it was one of the Mycelium Men that was suspiciously placed near a speaker. Others think it was the Mimic replaying a tape of Fiona that we heard earlier in the game, because the line is from that tape. We don't really know. Whatever the case, the Mimic, or M1, gets really attached to David and Edwin and essentially takes the place of Fiona, with David and Edwin treating her as such. She even gains her voice. However, one day, David was playing outside on his playground on his birthday, the one with no fence, and that was placed in the loading docks next to a highway. And lo and behold, when M1 goes to get him, they find David, you know.
My name is David. Dad, I want some ice cream. David, that is my name. David, I want another. David, where is my ball? I'm running out on the road. There is a car. And this is going to hit me.
Probably. We think he was hit by a car. It's not exactly confirmed. We don't know who did it. Could have been just a random car. Some people think it's Afton, which would be crazy. Edwin grieves David really hard as well, and probably even harder than Fiona, because that was all he had left. M1 continues to try to convince Edwin to make another Mimic to puppy David, because she was built as a caretaker, as a babysitter. Now she has no one to take care of, so she's like, uh-oh, I don't have a purpose anymore. And although he tries to protest, eventually he does build one, this one being known as M2, to replace David. It starts talking like David, acting like David, and sounding like David, to the point where Edwin gets so fed up, he destroys M2's legs. He just beats it down. Inadvertently teaches it to be violent. M1 starts to plead and borderline manipulate Edwin into fixing M2. So he built a case labeled F10N4, or Fiona, and seals M1 in the basement. M2, in retaliation, blows up Edwin's office with him inside and most likely kills him. We also don't know if he's dead or not. Either way, before that all happened, MCM and Chica's Party World were going out of business. However, William is doing great. He ended up buying Chica's Party World from Henry and brought him into Fazbear Entertainment. They wanted to make a brand new restaurant with just the two pre-existing characters. So they started commissioning MCM, being Edwin's only income at this point. William also started buying out MCM employees and bringing them into Fazbear. Also, Fazbear owns the land of MCM and Edwin's house. Other employees of MCM just start leaving without even going to Fazbear, like Stan and 2 other unnamed people who steal the mediocre Melodies designs and starts making their own business. Put a pin in that one, it's not that important, but it's a fun little coinky dink. MCM were the ones building the Springlock designs. And now, we get to talk about the different types of suits. I don't know why I did the hip thing. I know, this is so fun. You haven't heard from me in months, and then I come back with the FNAF, the like 3-hour-long FNAF timeline video, and then you spend like an excessive amount of time looking at robot schematics. Okay, so first we have mascots. These are just regular suits, you know, just like you slide into them. It's like a cosplay, it's regular, and these are safe. Then you have used Springlocks. These are what you've seen in the original Springlock costumes that are going to be in a lot of the Fredbear's Family Diner things. These guys, they're robots, and then you like stick in a crank and you wind them up, and like the locks like come out, and then like it like pulls them into like suit mode, and so a person can like slide into it, you know? However, these guys are extremely fragile. Like, they're like, like, too much movement, too much breathing, even water, like just like a couple splashes of water can cause the Springlocks to fail, which means they immediately and forcibly go back into suit mode, even if there's a person inside. You know, these guys are no bueno, not okay. Now, that's what the U is. U is unsafe Springlocks. Now, on the flip side, we have S Springlocks, or safe Springlocks. These we only recently found out about. These are the redesigned Springlocks that we get to see in Secret of the Mimic that Edwin was making before he... You know, these guys are kind of like these Springlocks, but instead of winding up, these guys, they're actually really safe. They kind of open up, and you can crawl right inside of them, and they close up. These guys can't really kill you. I mean, this is what Arnold wears in Secret of the Mimic. He's running around that place. He falls from, like, 4 stories and crawls out, and he's A-okay. These guys are great. And then we have animatronics. These guys... No Springlocks, no people inside. These are only robot, and these are great until you stuff a kid inside, but I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? I also thought that it was dumb to have Spring Bonnie named Spring Bonnie. I mean, because, like, at that time, he just would be called Bonnie, right? But then when they make Bonnie later down the line, Spring Bonnie was still... They were in use at the same time, and if Spring Bonnie was named Bonnie, they wouldn't have named Bonnie Bonnie. So I always liked the theory that, like, Spring Bonnie, just like, original name was Bon Bon, because it also gives an explanation for Bon Bon from Sister Location, because they were around at a similar time. It just makes sense, like, it gives an origin to the name that would have just popped up out of nowhere for no reason.
Okay, then.
Now, the original Springlocks, Springlocks, were these guys, the no buenos, were made and shipped off to Fazbear. But then they realized, hey, you die really easily in these. So then they shipped them back, which also, they were designed by Henry and William. A lot of people, not Edwin. Edwin only built them. A lot of people get really, like, fucking mad over that because they got confused. I don't know why. It's pretty obvious that he didn't design. He was like, hey, we need new Springlock suits because these ones, like, they kill you really fast. And Edwin, like, he does it because, he's getting money. But, like, he's really angry about it. We hear it in one of the audio logs. He's like, why can't we just put teens in them like we always do? And it's like, because they die. Like, you. Anyway, we see in the basement that he was building not only Fredbear and Bon, which I'm gonna keep calling him, but we also see that he was building Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, and Chica in these original Springlock designs, but they have the FNAF 1 designs, which makes sense because when the FNAF 2 location closes way down the line and they go back to using the FNAF, and they go to FNAF 1, because FNAF 2 is a prequel, they say, oh, we're going back to the original designs, aka these. There's also characters, Bub, which is like Sparky the dog, and Monty for some reason. Don't know why they're here. I mean, Monty's kind of, Edwin's like original character. He's always represented by an alligator, which comes up later, but it's really weird that those were supposed to be characters in here. I don't know what that's about, but oh.
Please stop this madness.
Now it's 1979 after all the M2 and Edwin blowing up happened. Fazbear Entertainment sent a lot of technicians to go retrieve the Mimic technology because, of course, they see that as their property and they want that. However, M2 killed all of the technicians that they sent, except for one, Arnold, who had just got off of working like a 60-hour shift, which is crazy. He gave the schematics over to M1, who manipulated him. After he left, M2, this is the canon ending, M2 hitched a ride in the back, killed him, and escaped MCM. And that's Secret of the Mimic for you, yay! Afterwards, William and his wife moved into Edwin's house and turned MCM into a Fredbear's Family Diner, keeping a small bunker underneath his house for William to tinker with. I'm really sorry that the whole Secret of the Mimic section seems super, like, rambly and weird. There's just a lot to talk about and, like, a lot of random connections because it's the newest game and we don't know what's important to point out and what isn't because we don't have answers for literally anything. Also, it's modern FNAF. It's very disconnected from everything else. And there's so much that I didn't get to talk about. I'm not touching on the Moon in the Basement or Moon.exe because, like, I literally have zero clue what's going on there. And there's plenty of other videos on that. But we're moving on. So there's lots of clues to the fact that David, Edwin Murray's kid, haunts the story. And more like, I guess not the story, like the land that used to be MCM. But instead of like, ooh, spooky ghost stuff, I make things float, I turn off lights. He like influences things around them to repeat his story. You'll see what I mean. Skipping ahead now, it is 1983. Fredbear's is open and blooming. They also opened a solo Freddy, so no more sharing a restaurant. William and Henry both have little families. So William married a woman, Clara, or some shit like that. I don't know, it's probably not her name, but it's also not important. And they had 3 kids. They got Dave, aka the crying child. We got Elizabeth, and we got Michael, aka Mike. Those guys are all important. And on the flip side, we have Henry and his daughter, Charlotte. That's what I meant. And he had a wife too, but she died in childbirth. Probably we'd like never hear of her ever, and probably never will. Dave's birthday is coming up, but he's scared of the animatronics because he saw someone going into the suit while it was dark and misunderstood it, or because he was locked in the back room with one of them or something. It doesn't matter. He's having his birthday party at Fredbear's because duh, and also because it's next door. William can't watch his kids because of his work. That and a kid named Dave. I'm starting to notice a pattern here. He thought it would be fine to like leave his kids unattended because he installed cameras to watch them. But Mike starts bullying Dave and scaring him and stuff, which like good for both of them. Mike's learning to grow a backbone, and Dave's experiencing his canon event. It's perfect for childhood development. William still feels that they need to put a walkie-talkie inside of Dave's plushie to reassure him of himself and that everything's gonna be okay because tomorrow is a new day. On Dave's birthday, Michael wanted to pull the biggest prank ever, so he and his friends put Dave inside of Fredbear's mouth to give him a big kiss. Unfortunately, this location was using used spring locks, and Dave's crying and wiggling caused the spring locks to fail, and Fredbear chomped down on Dave's head.
Was that the bite of 87?
Okay, but I need to get something straight. He was not bitten by this. None of this. It was either this or this. Probably this, because Withered Golden Freddy is the most accurate version that we have, because... Or actually, no, it was FNAF 1. It was FNAF 1. Scratch that. It was FNAF 1. This is who bit him. I don't want to see no more of this. I just wanted to get that straight. However, Dave didn't die from this. Instead, he went into a coma where he fought off the nightmare animatronics, aka death, to keep surviving. We know this is him in the hospital because of the IV bedside pill bottle, aka my favorite FNAF character. And night 6. However, death is inevitable, and on nights 5 and 6, Dave has to fight off against Nightmare Fredbear, as well as everyone else. aka the dude who, killed him. And then at the end of night 6, he's surrounded by his plushies, his only friends, who apologize for what they did. Especially the Foxy plush, aka Mike, until there's only one left. Fredbear, aka William, because the walkie-talkie. He promises to put Dave back together as Dave flatlines. And on night 7, Nightmare, or Nightmarionette, who basically replaced him throughout the rest of the series, which is fine because I like him better anyways, but it's besides the point. He comes to collect Dave's soul. Now, whether you believe that William pulled the plug on Dave, or put him inside Fredbear to springlock him, or, he just died, any of them is plausible, and we don't really know or have a grip on what's happening in this game in context of everything, because I wholeheartedly believe that the original ending of the game was leading up to Dream Theory, and the only thing canon in this game, especially with the box, I think it was, toys and junk. But that's besides the point. Afton wasn't joking, though. He really was planning on putting Dave back together. He just didn't know how. Henry designed and added the puppet into Fredbear's. It was something he talked about with Edwin before everything went down. She was a security feature. That's something designed to keep kids inside and only let them leave with a parent or guardian, except for small exceptions. And she was especially there to keep an eye on Charlie, Henry's daughter. Spring locks, U or S, doesn't matter, they were all scrapped, including the ones at Freddy's, and were replaced with regular endoskeletons that could move around. Spring locks were housed in the safe room for the time being, which was a secret room off the maps and cameras, specifically for animatronics and spring lock maintenance. Mike was never the same after the bite, and he spent the rest of his life grieving and trying to make up to his dad for what he did. William became distant and withdrawn, and he spent his time grieving and drinking. One night, he was kicked out of his local bar, Junior's, and on his way home, he stopped by the restaurant where some bullies had put presents on top of the puppet's box, trapping her inside, so they could lock Charlie out, because, bullies being bullies. When William found her, he filled with rage. It was so unfair that Henry got to have everything he wanted. William was the one that saved his business, his family, and Henry would pay for it. Henry would hurt, just like William had to hurt. He attacked and killed Charlie, dumping her corpse into the trash on the side of the building and sped off. The puppet made her way outside to Charlie's body, breaking down as she wasn't built to withstand the rain. Later that night, William drove home and went to Mike's room, blowing off his wife, only to discover that Mike was gone. Mike had been getting horrible nightmares about Fredbear and his brother, essentially also doing the FNAF 4 gameplay, but it was, again, in his head, it was his dreams. No gas chamber testing here. When he would get too scared, he would run to his brother's grave in the woods, just to check if he was still there, and Mike would be sorry when he came home. William would make sure of it. Yes, I know. I don't like this version of Midnight Motorist either. All the evidence was pointing to this being Mike and this being Dave, and him running to Fredbear's to find Charlie and the puppet, and that's why he's scared of the animatronics. However, timeline-wise, this doesn't work. Pretend he's not there. The timeline doesn't work like that because Dave has to die before Charlie does, because otherwise William doesn't have a motive to kill, and then he can't realize that the puppet is possessed by Charlie, and that gets him fixated on possession. That can't happen if Charlie dies first. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This can't be Mike, even though everything points to it, the sister location scenes, everything. And this can't be Dave, no matter how much me or anyone else wants it to be. So I hope we can come to an unsatisfying conclusion together. Thank you! After everything that happened at Fredbear's, it decides to close down. Freddy's is popping off more anyways, and there hasn't been too much tragedy from this place. Henry knows William had something to do with it, but he doesn't say anything because he has no proof. And as they were closing down, William noticed some weird things. Weird laughing, things moving to where they shouldn't be, and did the puppet always have tears? She seemed aggressive around adults, especially around William, and this caused him to have suspicions. He needed to test something out. So, at Freddy's, one by one, William lured 5 kids into the safe room using the Bonbon costume, killed them, and stuffed them into the animatronics backstage. At first he was careful, but soon he let loose. He would tell them that he would help them with their homework, or their dog wasn't really dead, he's just back here. I have cookies and sweets. My house is on fire. He would say anything to get the kids. First was Susie, she went into Chica. Then Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy. But the last girl, Cassidy, he went too far. So, we don't know exactly how she died. Like, he either threw a bag over her head and, beat her with a shovel.
I'll just wait for him after school. Throw a bag over his head. Hit him with a shovel. And drag him into the back of my car.
Or he spring-locked her, or whatever you believe. But either way, he went too far. And she went into Fredbear, aka good old G-Fred. So now, if you're keeping track, that's 2 people possessing Fredbear. Pay attention to that. And there's actually a surprising amount of restaurants that we know exist, but we've, never seen before. This is one of them with the Unwithereds, or the pre-Withereds, or whatever you prefer. It's important to know that it exists, but we don't really see it. Anyway, after the reputation of the place from the missing kids, which, became creatively known as the Missing Children's Incident, aka the MCI, the reputation hit rock bottom. The animatronics smelled awful. There was black and green pus oozing out of their faces, and no one wants to be around that. And so the restaurant closes down. After the Pre-Withereds restaurant closes, William decides to go on a separate adventure. He makes a sister location to Fredbear Entertainment, making his own restaurant and characters under Afton Robotics. A sister location in legal terms is a company that is tied to and is under the same division as another company, but they have separate characters, and William started developing the sister location animatronics. So you got Funtime Freddy, Bonbon, Foxy, Chica, and some new faces. Ballora, based on his wife, Circus Baby, based on Elizabeth and whatever the fuck Ennard is supposed to be. Also most likely Balloon Boy, JJ, Dee Dee, all those guys. And as well as some small things like Little Joe, the Magician, which are probably BB variants, also the Biddy Babs, Minarinas, and if you want to remember those like weird little monkey bar clown robots from the books. However, the main reason he wanted to make this choice was because he didn't get the results he wanted from the MCI. So, all of these animatronics were designed to lure, kidnap, and or kill kids. He stupidly tells Elizabeth that he made Baby just for her, / like based on her, but then tells her she's not allowed to go around Baby. Like, bro, why would you even tell her anything? Like, kids, bruh, curiosity.
Daddy just once let me go play with her. She's so pretty and shiny. Didn't you make her just for me?
Anyway, once they're all ready, they open up Circus Baby's Pizza World for one day and one day only, because wouldn't you know it, Elizabeth went up to Circus Baby one.
There were 4, then 3, then 2, then 1.
Don't tell Daddy that I'm here. I wanted to watch your show too. I don't know why he won't let me come see you. You're wonderful. Where did the other children go?
As we see in the blueprints and in Count the Ways, Funtime Freddy is the only one with a chest cavity that is able to keep a child alive. Also, they might have the illusion discs and or mimic technology inside of it. Anyway, they close under the guise of a gas leak, and all the fun times go into William's underground bunker at his house. While they were moving, he realized Baby's eyes were green when he could have swore that they were blue, but Elizabeth's eyes were green. Instead of being devastated by this discovery, it fills him with curiosity, and then his wife leaves him. Fazbear opened up the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The toy animatronics are the new and improved ones with really cool security features where they can scan your face and check it with a criminal database, which is kind of crazy for technology for 1987. Also, the puppet and the wizards are here. Yay! The Wizards and the Puppet are the only ones that are possessed. The Wizards by the MCI and Puppet by Charlie. But the toys are not possessed. They're being controlled by the Puppet. Sorry, you DCI fans.
Mangle is William Afton's first successful experiment with estrogen.
Also, the FNAF 2 movie might have confirmed that the Wizards are prototypes and that are scrapped for the toys and are only being used for parts. So therefore, the pre-Withered location doesn't exist, and the Wizards aren't possessed and are also controlled by the Puppet. I don't personally believe that. I still stand the Unwizards. But if it's confirmed, or you choose to believe that instead, just pretend that they're not haunted and that all the pre-Withered section is actually about the first Freddy's with the OG FNAF 1 non-spring lock designs from 1983. Anyway, Henry kicked William out of the company after what happened, and it takes some mental time, also because Henry doesn't trust William. So, William goes under a fake name and takes over the night shift so he doesn't have to interact with Henry, but he can also monitor how possession works. As he knows, 6 of the animatronics are possessed. The possessed animatronics recognize Afton, and the Puppet takes control and makes the toy animatronics attack as well. During the nighttime, the Puppet had led the withered animatronics to William to try to take him out while he was in the safe room. However, that's where he took them apart and made them look like that. The reason for this is he took the remnant out of them and went his way to his secret bunker. And because of this, all of the animatronics are on edge and start acting aggressively towards the adults, which ends in Mangle biting a day shift employee's frontal lobe off. This is known as
the bite of 87?
After he breaks all the wizards down and makes them look withered, the ghosts come out of the suits and attack William, and him being freaked out, he hides inside of the bonbon suit. However, You notice the dripping from the ceiling, as well as him moving a ton, and also the ghosts around him. Yeah, literally anything could have caused the U-spring locks to go off at this point, and surprise, surprise, they did. Afton dies here, and the ghosts go back into the suits, and yeah, this causes the restaurant to go down permanently, and everything's gone to shit. At the end of FNAF 2, the newspaper says that Freddy's is going back to the original designs. So that's where we are. The Withers are brought back, reskinned, and William is trapped down in the safe room. Mike, who's a big kid now, damn, Rugrats only got one special doing that. He's told by his daddy to find her and put her back together. He finds his dad's weird little secret bunker, and it has a personal elevator in his house that takes him down to Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals. A place where William could still make money by renting out the animatronics to birthday parties. And, you know, they would sometimes swallow up a kid or two for William. A mysterious voice, later found out to be Circus Baby's, leads Mike through the place, keeping him safe from the other animatronics, minus Chica, because she's being rented out somewhere else, and the wrong information he's given by Handy Unit. Until night 4, where he's kidnapped by Baby and put inside one of the U-spring lock suits for his protection, and then Baby leads him to the scooping room, a place that houses the Scooper. Basically, all that tinkering that William was doing was to build this place where he can inject the remnant from the Withers and others into the Funtime gang. Although because he used multiple random little pieces from random kids, the animatronics became more feral, especially at night, only using that one emotion to attack. Right, I didn't explain what remnant is. Damn. Okay, so, long story short, when someone dies and possesses something, whether that be an animatronic metal or a doll, they make something called remnant. It's infused with them. It's basically this special glowing soul juice that can only be killed when either the soul is put to rest or is set on fire. There's another version of remnant which is known as agony. Which is basically, if there's like a super tragic event that happened in a place, the extreme emotion stains the area, typically agony. For example, when Edwin beat M2, he poured his agony into it. In the books, when the kid destroyed the whole hide-and-seek game, he poured his agony into it, and Shadow Bonnie was formed taunting him until he undid the wrong. When William killed a bunch of kids, all of the agony formed into the Shadow animatronics. And the Paper Pals, for some reason, I don't really know what that's about. Shadow Freddy was formed from the Fredbears, and Shadow Bonnie was, aka this keyword spasm, was formed from the MCI. Anyways, the Funtime gang had gone to the Scooper that morning, destroying themselves, and formed Ennard, with Baby leading them. All they want to do is escape into the real world, except for Elizabeth. She wants to go back to William because she's a daddy's girl who wants to make him proud and redeem herself for the whole getting killed thing. They've tried to get out before, but they can't because they look... You know, they can't. So they scoop out the inside so they're inside, using him as a meat suit. However, I don't know if you know this, but skin doesn't last that long when it's not living, and Mike's body starts to decay, and once he's all purple and rotten, they just evacuate into the sewers and try to come up with another plan. However, Mike doesn't die from this. He just possesses his own corpse. That, or the agony of being scooped, or the remnant of Ennard, rubbed off on him, and it's still... It doesn't matter. He's still alive. That's what we need to take from this. That's where it all started. Mike, just after learning of all the horrors his father has done, goes to the new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It's the same place, just reskinned and sized down as the FNAF 2 location. as the security guard to try to undo the wrongs of his father. They attack him because they look like his dad, and also this is where the retcon that Scott talked about one time and everybody loves to bring up and speculate about. It's the fact that William was convicted for the MCI. You know, that little thing that was said in the newspaper clippings that was never brought up again. Yeah, that's it. There's a very good video by Hyperdroid that I'll link in the description and also in the card if I can figure that out. Where he goes into every possibility of what this retcon could be. I highly recommend watching it after this. Yeah, anyway. Mike eventually frees the kids' souls from the animatronics, but he doesn't put them to rest. Although, before he can do it, he's fired for tampering with the animatronics, and because of what he's done, the place closes again. But don't worry, Fazbear has another trick up their sleeve! Fazbear Frights, a new horror attraction based on the Freddy's tragedies, was built, using multiple memorabilia from the past restaurants, including William's corpse. Oh, we found one. A real one. Yeah, so guess who gets a job there as a security guard / scare actor? Mike. Yay! Now he finally faces his dad, and also goes against the hallucination of the animatronics from the past, which are also possibly their ghosts. We don't really know. However, Mike is also helping the ghosts get closure, and after finally putting his brother and the MCI victims, except for one, to rest, he sets Fazbear Frights on fire, attempting to kill his father, but he ends up surviving. FNAF World takes place during the same time, if not a little bit after FNAF 3. Basically, it's the souls of the animatronics after being dismantled, possessing an arcade game, experiencing an afterlife where they go on an adventure to get closure. It's kinda hard to tell, but the map is a brain with the dead zone where the frontal lobe should be, specifically drawing your attention to Dave, being the main one to focus on here. Not much happens here, but you affect the mini-games in FNAF 3 that leads you to the canon ending where they all get put to rest. Although you could go too deep into the code and find... Oh! This here is Old Man Consequences, OMC for short, and he is Edwin. Not his ghost or something, it represents him. He tells them that he can't do anything else. It's out of their control right now, and he's trapped. So we ask him to stay for a while and fish, which he can, or he can drown himself in the lake, taking you to a flashing rainbow screen behind a man holding his 2 children, which is Scott and his 2 kids, as FNAF World was supposed to be the last game after FNAF 4 was supposed to be the last game, and blah 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 blah, giving you the OMC ending, but this wasn't the end. This game was posted for free on Steam as a Christmas surprise to hold the fans over until FNAF 6 could come out. Turns out to everyone who downloaded and played this, they found out that it was FNAF 6. Which if anyone still wants to play a FNAF game but doesn't want to spend money, it's still free on Steam. I've played it and I highly recommend it. It's one of the only, I think, 3 or 4 that I've actually played. Highly recommended. But guess who's working here? Mike gets to be his own franchise owner because he's worked at so many places. Yippee! He builds up the pizzeria in the tycoon phase, which, hey, those are the mediocre melodies all the way back from Secret of the Mimic. And oh, who's selling them? Stan's Budget Tech, as in the mysterious Stan who ditched MCM way back when. Anyway, after each shift, you go outside to see if any animatronics are out there that you can salvage in the, lo and behold, salvage phase, and guess what? There is! During the daytime, he keeps them inside and away from the guests in the office space. Your goal, as your boss tells you, is to gather everyone together for a birthday party at the end of the week.
Don't forget Saturday. You want them all to be in one place.
You get Molten Freddy, which is just entered after booting out Baby and Funtime Freddy taking over as the leader, but they're missing a crap ton of parts now. Oh, and speak of the devil, there's Scrap Baby, who, oh! Okay, so she obviously went back to the bunker and pieced herself together with things from the auditorium, which includes roller skates. I dig it. Then there's Scrap Trap. What's left of Afton after the fire. And oh! That's, did you do something with your hair? I know there's this theory of Afton rebuilding himself with pieces of Fredbear, but like, come on, bro, he couldn't at least have looked like somewhat like Springtrap and like, I don't know, appealing to look at.
Scott, I love you.
Oh, and who's this? Lefty, huh? I mean, looking better than your carnival days, but why are you here? Unless you were the person that bought him for $5 with a liability risk of $9, and we're met by this lovely message, but still, why? Oh, well, the reason we collect them all by the end of the game is because this whole thing was a setup put together by Henry to trap all of the lingering souls still out there that Fazbear created and set them free. Not to undermine the awesome speech that Henry gives at the end of the game, but I don't really want to spoil it all here because I highly recommend you play and listen to it yourself. And also, we don't have the time. But basically, he says he's sorry to everyone that Fazbear hurt, to all the souls inside who were robbed of a life. He lights a fire to set them all free, as this whole restaurant was a labyrinth that they couldn't escape from. Except for one of them, William, as, quote, the darkest
pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend.
So as it turns out, when freeing all the souls in FNAF 3, he either only did Dave because, like, he doesn't really know about Cassidy, or he did Cassidy too, but like in the book, she attached her soul to Afton so that she wouldn't die until he did. And when he did die, this is his afterlife. Tortured to fight against everyone and everything that he created. Unclear if it's only Cassidy here, or if she also trapped all the other souls, but that's besides the point. The point is, both Cassidy and William are trapped here for eternity, or until Cassidy lets him go, which probably won't happen, but like, hey, he deserves it. Oh! And Old Man Consequences is here. If you play him and only him and set him to 20, he will take you back to the Red Lake from FNAF World, where he tells you, Cassidy, to leave the demon to his demons and to stay with him for a while. You can, but the only other way out is to close and reopen the game, or to drown yourself in the lake again, which will crash it and cause you to restart, but it will also give you a trophy in FNAF World. Some people only consider FNAF 1 through 4 the classic story, but I think of that as the original story. Again, when Scott's original intention was Dream Theory before changing it, it might also include FNAF World. But classic FNAF is FNAF 1 through Ultimate Custom Night, and the modern story is everything from Help Wanted onward. Got it? Got it. This story is mostly disconnected from the previous one, but I'll point out spots where it connects. Thank you. In this game, you play as Vanessa, testing the new VR game Help Wanted, where they try to make light of the tragedies that happened in Freddy's history. Apparently, an indie game developer made a bunch of games that exaggerated the bad stuff and tarnished the brand, so they made this to help with that. However, while you're playing, you can find these little cassette tapes. If you go to a secret area that's out of bounds and unknown to Fazbear, you can listen to them, where the previous playtester, aka Tape Girl, tells you what's what. She explains that Fazbear had actually hired the indie game developer, and all this was a part of their plan. They also found a bunch of weird circuit boards with codes on them that they wanted to upload to the game, which came from the Mimic. And when they did this, this weird guy showed up. This is Glitchtrap. He's a spooky guy who stands far away at first, but with every tape you collect, the closer and closer he gets to you. Tape Girl explains that the tester before her killed himself because of the nightmares he was getting from the headset, and now she was experiencing the same thing. Beating the game normally has you get killed and stuffed into Freddy as Glitchtrap dances around while the credits roll, exactly like William used to do. However, if you collect all the tapes, Tape Girl tells you that the reason Glitchtrap hasn't been taken out of the game yet is because he split himself into pieces. The pieces being these tapes that she's been recording on. And now that they're all assembled, he's gonna get her the same way he's about to get us. And that would have been amazing to know if this wasn't the second to last tape, but she has a way to beat him. Now that all the tapes are here, he's gonna attack us at random. But if he does, we can put in a very specific code to beat him. When he attacks, if you put in the code, he takes over your mind. Yeah, that was all a trap. He traps us inside the game, and we are now under his control. When you respawn into the hub after him taking over, instead of seeing Glitchtrap, you'll be greeted with a Glitchtrap plushie. And if you manage to get the Vanny mask and hold them at the same time, you can hear Vanessa having a conversation with Glitchtrap, which you can see in whole in the source code. Isn't that so fun and amazing? I love when games have happy endings. This game isn't really important. What we're looking at is the emails that you can get in the game. Basically, they say that us, Vanessa, are being appointed to a security guard in the new location by a higher-up, despite having no qualifications. And she's buying lots of fabric and, like, cosplay stuff online. That's literally it. Here we are. You play as Gregory, running around in the new and improved Mega Pizzaplex that may or may not be built on top of Pizzeria Simulator, as well as a sinkhole, as well as having no possessed animatronics. These guys are all AI. Kinda. There are, like, a shit ton of missing kids, and, like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. We don't really get an answer to where they are. In Ruin, we see that the wet floor bots are, like, screaming when the VR mask is on until you turn them off. Bonnie's gone too, which... that's odd. I mean, Foxy's kinda here, but, like, I wish he was here more. It's also a hot mess, not only glitch-wise, but also story-wise, as when Scott was making it with Seal Wool, instead of telling them what was happening and why, he just told them these things should be put in, with no explanation or anything. So, get this guy, Burntrap, who is not canon, same with the Blob, who were supposed to be little Easter eggs that you see lingering around the corner and not like a huge boss fight with purple smoke. Basically, in this game, you fuck up the other Glamrocks while upgrading and hanging out with Freddy, my guy. And at the end, in the canon ending, you play all the Princess Quest games, where you play through Vanessa's story, where it is stylistically retells Help Wanted and how she got trapped. And by doing this, you manage to free her, and you guys become besties and leave with Freddy's head. You leave with his head because he gets jumped so hard. Gregory is, again, another thing in, like, the God David theory, and we don't really know much about him because, of course, we don't. It's modern FNAF. But we think he used to be under Glitchtrap's control. He was a hacker, and he was keeping watch over Vanessa as she was the reluctant follower. He got all the high score on the arcade machines with the name GGY. However, he somehow found a way to get out at the start of the game, which is why Vanessa is after you, and because she can take control of any of the animatronics' minds by putting in the mimic technology, she can get all of them after you. However, because Freddy saw you in the crowd during the performance at the start of the game, he enters safe mode, which is why the mimic technology isn't affecting him. He doesn't deteriorate throughout the game until you give him the other animatronics parts, and why he isn't out to get Gregory. I know it's all complicated, and it's hard, but it makes sense, and it's more fun when you get a theory right. Anyway, we're almost done. One more game. Or two more. Okay, so remember FNAF 4 and, like, Mike and all of his friends that like, killed Dave. Look at this kid. He's known as Bonnie Bro. Now imagine him like 40 years later. He became a Fazbear technician, probably to make up for what he did. And these technicians have BR Vanny masks where you can do like all different types of maintenance and shit. We see a lot more Fall Fest and things. I mean, like, there's only like 3 different thing. But, a win's a win. When you collect all the voodoo dolls, you can play Princess Quest 4, and at the end of the game, you destroy M1, aka the Mimic, aka Glitchtrap. But when you collect all of the Freddy's Transformer toys and, die, you get put inside a mask bot who's in ruin, and you give a mask to Cassie, aka Bonnie Bro's kid. She was called to the Pizzaplex by Gregory because they're friends and Gregory is trapped in the basement. She gets given a Vanny mask and a Faz wrench, which all the technicians usually have. It implants a little chip in her head housing Helpy, with an eye. He was also in Help Wanted 2, and this is the M1 Mimic just disguising itself as it's all virtual. When she has the mask on, sometimes she can phase through objects and stuff. This is most likely because of the sound illusion discs. Again, it's all from the books. However, sometimes when you have the mask on, this lovely guy, known as Nexus, will show up and attack you. No, they killed Glamrock Bonnie! Oh, him and the bear were kissing? God damn it, Trump, why can't we have nice things? Anyway, we go to the ruined Pizzaplex, help out some of the animatronics that Gregory fucked up. Oh my god, I know we did it, but this is so much worse. Roxy is Cassie's favorite because on Cassie's birthday...
Cassie. Welcome back, Cassie.
You remember me?
Your special day. I remember. Your special day. Do you still like carrot cake? It has been some time since I saw you last. If I remember correctly, it is on the 11th. I remember because you are number 1. Twice. Have you booked your party? I'm sure your friends will show up this time.
This is where she met Gregory and where they became friends. She has to deactivate Roxy in order to get to Gregory and deactivate mixes.
Cassie, what are you doing?
So sorry.
I love carrot cake. Happy birthday, Cassie.
Roxy, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
The box holding mixes looks familiar. Sort of like F10 and 4. And then we go to the basement where Gregory is and...
You're not Gregory. What are you?
Yep, we are pretty sure that Gregory and Vanessa found M2 down here and implemented mixes in order to keep him restrained from everyone else. Cassie runs away and hops onto an elevator where the real Gregory comes onto the intercom and is like, "There's so much to explain, but I can't explain it right now," and then makes the elevator fall like it's Bendy Chapter 3, and we're done, I'm done, I did it, I did it, I turned it in on time. It's done. And that's where we are until now. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. This took a lot of writing, thinking, editing, and a lot more. I mean, I bought a whole whiteboard so I could do my silly little bear doodles on here. I mean, there's a lot of plot holes, but it's FNAF. Literally, who cares? Yeah, I had a lot of fun. This was recorded over, 3 different sessions. One was last night and I stopped at 11:30, and then I did it again when I woke up this morning, And then I hung out with my cousins all day, and it is now 8, almost 20, when recording this last little bit. Yeah, this guy's been here since this morning, so that's kind of how you tell. And also the lighting, because everything's really different, because, yeah. You guys don't give a shit. Bye.
Wait, you have to finish your cognitive phrase draw.
I did! Oh, shit, no! Oh my god. Excuse me, they should make college courses about this, and I should be a professor.